On this episode of Hack Engineering, we fix up this old pile.
Hello and welcome to Hack Engineering's first attempt at actual content creation. I'm Ilya.
And I'm Trevor.
And today we're going to be working on one of my many prized possessions.
So what is this wonderful antique snowmobile you have here?
So this little thing came about as a attempted parts run. My father-in-law's been restoring his childhood sled, 74 Colt 250 SS. And this 73 Custom II 250 popped up in Trevor's neck of the woods up north, and I asked him to grab it. How'd that go?
Well, I went out and met the guy, and so it was a ran when parked, no spark. I just gave him all the money in my wallet, which I think was like 170 bucks.
Sounds about par for everything I bring home.
And I loaded it in my truck, and I brought it to my place, and I kind of liked it, so I just kept it in my barn for about 2 years and didn't do anything to it. And then realized that I didn't need another project, but this guy definitely needs another project. So I just brought it down here. What was it, last winter? We fixed the points, got it kind of sort of running, and drove it on a little bit. But that was after cleaning out the fuel system, that was a fun task. So the fuel pickup fell off of the fuel line in the tank, so I could hear that rattling around there. So I tried to shake it out of the fuel tank, but there were a couple other things in the tank. There was a handle that said Craftsman on it or something, and then there were 2 dead mice. So that was nice. So after we drained the mice out of the tank, put the pickup back on the line, we got the sled running. I mean, it sort of ran.
I think after 8 carburetor rebuilds, I could do about 100 yards before it would shut down on me, and I did that about 6 times before I got sick of pulling it over and limping it home every time. So yeah, she came back inside, and after working on the father-in-laws and figuring out kind of what went where, we got quite a bit more brave and just kind of tore it apart and decided to address all the little things, some of the bigger things, and just kind of function over form, get it rideable, and enjoy it. So
oh yeah, it's way more fun when you can just ride it and not care about it.
Yeah. It's even for how ratty it was and how bad it ran. It was still good backyard fun when I had it. So
oh yeah,
I'm looking forward to being able to go across the entire backyard and entire field rather than just small pieces of it. So let's dig in.
So what's all broken on it?
What isn't broken? I think we got parts for exhaust. Oh, exhaust. The whole exhaust can was pretty well cracked up. Trevor took that home and welded it up. We've got exhaust straps that need to be riveted in. We've got fuel valves.
The fuel pump is full of mouse at the moment.
Yeah, fuel pump needs rebuild. We got the track out of it right now. The suspension spring was completely broken. One side?
Yeah, one spring was broken. It had no travel in the back. It was just sitting on the ground.
Which these old sleds didn't have a whole lot of travel to begin with. The pull start is wire. That was frayed, so we got that patched up quick. Just trimmed a little off and snaked it through, and back in she went. I think I've got some brake pucks. We took apart the drive side to replace the brake pucks. So that's all apart. We'll be getting some new gear oil in there. And fuel shutoff switch.
Master cylinder.
Brakes.
There were no brakes.
After many years of finding brakes to be optional, we've gotten older, wiser, and not much wiser, just a little bit wiser. Where if it goes, it would be nice if it also stopped. So we're actually taking the time to revamped the brake system, went through the seals, honing out the master, and piecing that back together. So hope to have it pretty well operational soon. Maybe tonight?
You're an optimist.
Nah, definitely not tonight. All right. So, dig in?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Oh yeah, we pull the wire up.
Wire it up. Well, this little guy here is the fuel pump for the single-cylinder 250 Polaris. The interesting thing about this is that it is kind of considered the old-school Mikuni design. Trevor, if you flip it around, you can see that the pulse port just has a little O-ring on it, whereas later models had a individual barb fitting, like your inlet and outlet. So I tried to buy a kit, and reading comprehension got the best of me, and it is for the next generation, which is much more common, but doesn't do us a whole lot of good. So we're going to do the best we can with what we've got, clean all the leftover mouse fur out of the pump. Hopefully the checks and the diaphragms are in good shape, and
yeah,
we'll see if she goes.
Everything in the pump looks fine, except that it's, you can see it there, it's a little bit of hair in the check valves. You're not supposed to have hair in your check valves. It's not supposed to be anywhere in your fuel system. So we're going to clean that all out and hope it works, since the rest of the diaphragms seem to be fine.
Welcome back to day 2 of thrashing on the Hack Engineering Super Sled. We've got the track from the sled pulled out. We had a broken spring, which is why it initially came out. So we got a broken spring on this side. Our shock does not work in compression. We've got decent rebound on it, and
yeah,
we're just going to throw it back in.
This suspension doesn't move much anyways.
So in the parts suspension, we got 2 good springs. This thing's kind of interesting because it had 2 broken bolts in the suspension, which caused the shock to kind of blow out the bottom. It looks like it got ridden on like that for a while before it was parked. So we're going to make the best of what we've got and throw it in.
So the detriment of a lot of these older Polaris sleds are these drive cogs. So as you can see on this one, we got 1 tooth missing on one of the drive cogs. There's like another half one that's chewed up pretty good. Cracks throughout. We figure 11 out of 12 isn't bad, so we're going to send it. But yeah, we fully expect to replace these sometime in the near to distant future if we put any significant amount of hours on the sled.
All right, so now we're going to try to work to get this skid in. And there's a trick with the old Polaris skids. We'll have to run a ratchet strap over this thing at one point to get the rear lined up with the hole in the chassis. So let's get the front started. Yeah, that one started. Trying to get your front one in.
Yep.
Yeah, and
This is where our compression quandary begins.
yeah, do you have a strap?
Yeah, somewhere around here.
So basically the strap compresses the front suspension down, pulls the rear torque arm forward. Don't even go that far forward. We need to go about a half a bolt.
Let's see how that looks.
All right. Yeah, you went way too far forward. There we go. Track is installed. Question mark. Now we'll just need to get everything else functioning. Hey, it doesn't sit on the ground anymore. Weird.
Right height?
Does it move?
What is that?
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
We got suspension.
this
is going to be too nice. Too nice.
So we're getting together the gear case side of things. We threw in some new brake pads, cleaned up the rotor a little bit, and we're getting ready to suck in the kind of intermediary shaft for the secondary clutch. So what we're using is the bolt from the secondary clutch side of the shaft, along with this Hack Engineering factory service tool. I think it's a 1 inch deep well to suck the shaft into the bearing. Pretty tight fit. Probably 3 of these I've done now have been pretty tight. So.
What happens when you try to use a hammer to pound that thing in?
Yeah. So when you apply the hammer method, the brake pads all fall out, and that doesn't work too swell. And then on another one of these gear cases, we saw that there was a broken boss for the side cover, which makes it leak like crazy. So we're gonna try to get this thing together without doing too much damage.
All right. Ugh. Look at that, this method actually works. We already lost the brake pads once, so we're trying to be smarter now.
We lost them once on this, and we lost them once on the other sled that we worked on. So, yeah, it's amazing how much you learn from experience of doing it wrong the first time.
Just the first time?
Just the first time. All right, ready, Freddie?
So we're gonna see if she runs. Do you want the fuel probably on?
Fuel probably on.
Okay, so the fuel is probably on now. It's moving. Got fuel. You think it's gonna smoke or something?
I have a sneaky suspicion. Choke or no choke?
Well, choke. It's cold.
All right. Not that cold.
Is the switch on?
Switch is on.
Is the switch on?
Switch is on.
That switch is on. Well, pull it and see what happens. Don't hit your elbow. It's pumping fuel.
What's that?
It's pumping fuel.
Hi, Mike. You just didn't like the mic.
No choke. Oh. Oh, yeah. I think it's time to take it outside. I think the carb needs a little tuning.
I like this plan. We pulled it out. It came around the garage fine. Made noise. Moved a little. Seemed to go a lot better than it did with the old drive belt. So now we'll beat on it a little bit and see if she holds up.
What are you waiting for? Go for it. Seems like it runs pretty good.
It runs pretty good. They don't really steer. They just kind of slide. Seems to be warming up, clearing out a little bit yet, but you give it a try.
All right, take this.
Well, hey, neighbor's dog came to visit. Hey there, bud. Takes a little getting used to the whole no brakes at all whatsoever.
Yeah. So, Ilya took the sled out for a little drive, and going through the front yard, heard a couple crunching noises, and then the sled stopped moving, right about here. Do you remember the drive sprockets with 11 teeth that'll probably be fine? Yeah, those teeth are all gone now. So, looks like this thing needs a new drive sprocket. And you'll probably see it on a future episode of Hack Engineering. See ya.